The suburban mall was alive with its usual blend of hustle and bustle. Shoppers moved through its bright, polished halls, carrying bags from their favorite stores. Children giggled near the fountains. Teenagers gathered by the food court, and families explored the latest sales. The air was filled with the sounds of footsteps, conversation, and faint music playing over the mall's sound system. At the heart of it all was Lisa Carter, the new manager, who had taken over just a few weeks prior. Lisa was a woman with a mission to make the mall a safe, welcoming space for everyone. She walked the corridors with purpose, her eyes scanning for anything that might disrupt the peaceful flow of the day. A spill that needed cleaning, a broken light bulb, or a disgruntled shopper, nothing escaped her notice. Lisa was proud of her reputation as a hands-on leader. She believed in addressing problems head-on, ensuring that everyone, from customers to store employees, felt the mall was a pleasant place to be. That day seemed no different from any other, and as she made her way through the crowd, she felt a sense of satisfaction that things were running smoothly. Then something caught her eye. A man had just walked in through the main entrance. He was tall and middle-aged, dressed casually in jeans and a button-up shirt. But it wasn't his clothes that drew attention, it was the bright red hat on his head. Emblazoned with bold white letters, it read, "Make America Great Again." Almost immediately, the atmosphere in the mall began to shift. Lisa noticed small groups of shoppers glancing at the man, whispering to each other. Some looked annoyed, others uncomfortable. A woman near the coffee shop shook her head and muttered something under her breath, while a teenager pulled out their phone, likely snapping a picture. The man seemed completely unfazed by the attention, walking leisurely as if he didn't have a care in the world. Lisa's mind raced. She had seen similar situations before, symbols or slogans that sparked controversy, igniting heated discussions or even outright confrontations. As manager, she felt it was her responsibility to diffuse potential conflicts before they could escalate. To her, this man's hat was a clear flashpoint. Taking a deep breath, Lisa decided to step in. Her goal was simple: prevent any disruption and ensure the mall remained a welcoming environment for all. She adjusted her blazer, straightened her posture, and began walking toward the man, ready to address the situation with her characteristic professionalism. Lisa approached the man confidently, weaving through the crowd as her mind replayed the plan she'd quickly formed. Her goal was to address the situation calmly and professionally, ensuring no one felt uncomfortable while keeping the man's dignity intact. As she got closer, she took a moment to observe him more closely. He seemed unbothered by the attention his hat was drawing, strolling leisurely and occasionally glancing at store displays. "Excuse me, sir," Lisa began, her tone polite but firm. The man turned to face her, his expression warm and approachable. "I'm Lisa Carter, the manager of this mall. May I have a word with you?" The man nodded, his demeanor calm. "Of course, how can I help you?" Lisa hesitated for a fraction of a second, gathering her thoughts. "We strive to maintain a welcoming environment here, and I've noticed that your hat is drawing some attention. While I understand that it's your personal choice, I'd like to ask if you'd consider removing it while you're in the mall. It can provoke strong reactions, and we want to avoid any potential discomfort for other shoppers." The man's eyebrows rose slightly, though his friendly smile didn't waver. "I see," he said, his voice measured and polite. "You're concerned that my hat might upset people?" Lisa nodded, relieved that he seemed willing to have a reasonable conversation. "Exactly. We've had situations in the past where certain symbols or messages have led to disagreements or even disruptions. I just want to ensure everyone here has a pleasant experience." The man crossed his arms thoughtfully, then looked her directly in the eye. "I appreciate your concern, Miss Carter, but I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm just shopping, like anyone else. Surely wearing a hat doesn't violate mall policy?" Lisa felt her resolve harden. She had dealt with stubborn customers before, and while this man seemed polite, she couldn't afford to back down. "Technically, no," she admitted. "But as the manager, I have the discretion to address situations that might impact the mall's atmosphere. I'm asking you as a courtesy to remove it." The man's expression remained unreadable for a moment before he smiled again, his calm demeanor unwavering. "I understand your position, but I'd prefer to keep it on. I'm not doing anything wrong, and I believe in standing by my choices." Lisa felt the tension rise. Shoppers nearby were subtly observing the interaction, and she knew that leaving the issue unresolved could invite criticism or further discomfort. She decided to take a firmer stance. "Sir, I'm afraid if you choose not to comply, I'll have to ask you to leave the mall." The man chuckled softly, shaking his head. "Is that so?" Reaching into his pocket, he pulled out a sleek business card and extended it to her. "Then perhaps this will help clarify things." Lisa frowned slightly but took the card, her eyes scanning the text. Her breath caught as she read the name. Lisa stood frozen, staring at the business card in her hand. The words Tom Caldwell, owner, Caldwell Properties, seemed to jump off the paper. Caldwell Properties, the company that had recently purchased the mall. This man, the one she had just confronted and was moments away from ejecting, wasn't just any shopper. He was her boss, the owner of the entire establishment. Her mouth went dry as she slowly looked back up at him. Tom was watching her with a calm, almost amused expression, his relaxed stance contrasting sharply with the turmoil now raging inside her. For a moment, Lisa didn't know what to say. She felt the weight of her earlier words pressing down on her, every polite but firm request echoing in her mind. I didn't realize," she stammered, trying to regain her composure. "Mr. Caldwell, I'm so sorry. I had no idea." Tom held up a hand, cutting her off gently but firmly. "There's no need to apologize, Ms. Carter," he said, his tone measured. "You were doing what you thought was best for the mall, weren't you?" Lisa nodded quickly, her face flushing with embarrassment. "Yes, sir. I was just trying to maintain a comfortable environment for all our guests. I didn't mean any disrespect." Tom tilted his head slightly, his expression thoughtful. "Disrespect? No, I don't think that was your intention," he said. "But I will admit, I wasn't expecting this kind of welcome today." Lisa's heart sank further. This wasn't just a misunderstanding, it was a first impression, and she had made the worst one possible. "Please understand," she began, grasping for words. "We've had situations in the past where certain symbols or messages led to conflicts. I was only trying to prevent that from happening here." Tom's gaze didn't waver, but his tone remained calm. "I understand your perspective, Ms. Carter, but I also believe in standing by personal choices as long as they don't harm others. A hat is just a hat. What's more important is how we treat people, regardless of what they wear or believe." Lisa nodded again, her embarrassment deepening. She wanted to sink into the floor and disappear, but Tom's steady demeanor kept her rooted in place. He didn't seem angry, just observant, as though he was using this moment to gauge her response. "Well," Tom said after a pause, slipping his hands into his pockets, "I came here today to get a sense of the mall's atmosphere and how our team interacts with customers. Let's just say this has been enlightening." Lisa's face burned, and she opened her mouth to respond, but Tom gave her a small nod and began walking away. "Thank you for your time, Ms. Carter. Keep up the good work." As he disappeared into the crowd, Lisa remained rooted in place, her mind racing with thoughts of what had just transpired. She replayed the entire interaction in her head, each word and decision feeling heavier now that she knew the truth. She had just confronted the new owner of the mall, and while Tom Caldwell had remained composed, his words carried a weight that lingered. The rest of the day passed in a haze. Lisa carried on with her managerial duties, but her usual confidence was shaken. Every smile from a shopper and every glance from her staff felt like it was scrutinizing her actions, though in reality, no one else knew the significance of what had happened. By the next morning, Lisa was greeted with an entirely different kind of chaos. News of her interaction with Tom had somehow spread, likely from a bystander who overheard their conversation. Social media was abuzz with the story, with posts and videos captioned, "Mall manager confronts MAGA hat wearer, unaware he's the owner." Comments flooded in, ranging from praise for her attempt to create a neutral environment to harsh criticism for overstepping her bounds. The story had gone viral. Some hailed Tom as a symbol of calm dignity, standing his ground without hostility. Others dissected Lisa's actions, debating whether she was right or wrong in her approach. The mall's name trended online, and reporters even began showing up, hoping to catch a comment from either party. Lisa wanted nothing more than to hide, but she knew she couldn't. Later that afternoon, she was called into a meeting with Tom himself. The thought of facing him again made her stomach churn, but she knew it was unavoidable. In the quiet, sleek office overlooking the mall, Tom greeted her with the same calm demeanor he'd shown the day before. "Miss Carter, have a seat," he said, gesturing to a chair across from him. Lisa sat down, her hands folded tightly in her lap. "Mr. Caldwell," she began, "I want to sincerely apologize again for yesterday. I realize now that I handled the situation poorly, and I've reflected a lot on my actions." Tom nodded, his expression neutral. "I appreciate your apology, but I didn't ask you here to reprimand you. I understand why you acted the way you did. You were trying to prevent conflict and protect the mall's atmosphere. That's commendable, but there's a bigger lesson to take from this." Lisa listened intently as Tom continued. "As a manager, you're in a position of leadership. How you respond to situations sets the tone for the entire team. Respect and inclusivity have to be at the core of everything we do. That means understanding that people may have different views, symbols, or beliefs, but they're still customers who deserve to be treated fairly." She nodded, absorbing his words. "I understand, sir. I want to learn from this and do better." Tom leaned back slightly, his tone softening. "Good, because I believe this is an opportunity for growth, not just for you, but for the entire team. Starting next week, we're implementing a training program focused on professionalism, inclusivity, and conflict resolution. I want you to help lead it." Lisa blinked, surprised by his suggestion. "Me? After everything that happened?" "Precisely because of what happened," Tom replied. "You're in a unique position to understand the challenges of handling sensitive situations. Use this experience to guide others." Relieved and determined, Lisa nodded. "Thank you for giving me this chance. I won't let you down." The following week saw transformation at the mall. Staff participated in workshops, and Lisa led discussions on the importance of respect and judgment. The incident became a learning experience for everyone, and slowly the public discourse shifted. The story went from being a viral spectacle to a powerful example of growth and accountability. Tom remained a frequent visitor to the mall, often walking the halls with the same casual demeanor. Lisa no longer viewed him with embarrassment, but with respect, grateful for the chance to prove herself. In the end, what could have been a career-ending moment for Lisa became a turning point. Not just for her, but for the entire mall. Together, they created an environment that truly welcomed everyone, no matter who they were or what they believed.